Hey, welcome to Structure Fishing. I'm Jim Shell. We are fishing a new lake. I love fishing new lakes. I enjoy fishing a new lake more than going to one of my favorite lakes. It's just something about going to a new lake. It's a new experience. You're learning a new body of water. You're learning new structures. And like Buck Perry's always said, fish as many new lakes as you can. You're always going to learn something. And I just enjoy fishing new lakes. Um, and I've been catching so many wipers this year out in Clinton Lake in central Illinois. Um, look at Casey's channel, Fishcraft, for the latest our trip out there a couple of weeks ago. If you guys have not seen that video yet, but been having so much fun catching wipers on Clinton. I did a search looking for what lakes in the areas or in the Midwest or whatever have wipers, and I found a lake that looked really neat in southern Indiana called, it's right, is this? Nope, that's not it. It is called Patoka Lake. Hang on, let me find it here. Here we go. It is the second largest lake in Indiana. It's 8,800 acres. It's in southern Indiana, not far from the border of Kentucky over here. Never fished the lake. I don't know of anyone that's fished, and I've never heard of the name before. I know a few guys that live in Indiana, mostly northern Indiana, and I'm sure that they probably fished it. And I don't want to call them just because I don't want to have, I hate go, going to a new lake. I want to go to a new lake, and I ask someone about the lake, and they'll say, "Oh no, that lake's no good." And I'll say, "Well, when was the last time you fished it?" 15 years ago. A lot can change in a lake in 15 years. But I didn't want to get any preconceived information or notions about the lake. I wanted to learn the lake on my own, or just discover it on my own here. So I don't know anything about this lake other than I did a search on hybrid stripers, and this lake eventually popped up. And being in southern Indiana, it's not too far away. I think it's a 5 hour drive or 6 hour drive, something like that. Anyway, um, my plans. I was supposed to go with a friend of mine this weekend, but he had a death in the family and had to cancel the trip. So I thought, well, let me just find something new to do. And I just glanced at the map. I figured, let me record it so you guys can see the process I go through on fishing a new lake. So here it is in southern Indiana. Once again, it's 8,800 acres. The little bit of research I did so far, it's the second largest lake in Indiana. I looked at it. I looked up on YouTube. There's a few videos out, not much, and one was on crappie, one was on largemouth, one was on walleye, and one was on hybrids. From the information I did find, it seems to be that it appears to have a well-rounded, balanced population of fish of largemouth, walleyes, and wipers. Wipers and the walleyes are stocked, I believe, on an annual basis, and it seems like supplemental stockings of largemouth bass are every few years or so. So let's look at the lake. I just looked at it for just a few minutes, and I'm like, wow, this looks good. I need to film it so you guys can see the process I use in trying to find structures. And I'm looking for high percentage structures. I'll go in this here shortly here, but um, and I'm really concentrated on the walleyes and the wipers. Um, but if the largemouth, if it has a good population of largemouth, I got no problem catching largemouth either. But since I'm trying to target walleyes and wipers, they're migratory fish. So today is Thursday, July 8th. I'll be fishing this Saturday, July 10th, and possibly Sunday, the 11th. But it's almost the middle of July, so we're pretty much in the full summer pattern right now. So once again, the walleyes and wipers being migratory fish, I'm not going to fish the headwaters here. If I was fishing this lake in April and May, I would probably look at structures up in closer up in the headwaters. But since I'm fishing this lake pretty much summer pattern, I'm going to go in the main basin of the lake here. So I'm going to start looking at the map here, pretty much at this causeway. I would say anything upstream of this causeway, which would be to the east, is towards the headwaters. Not going to have I'm going to have a low percentage of finding walleyes and wipers there. Migratory fish, so I'm want to find structures more in the main basin of the lake. So I'm going to go through the process I use in trying to find these things. Now the first thing I do is I'll take when I'm on the water fishing, I've got a 9-inch chart plotter, so I'm only seeing this much of the lake of the map on my screen at a time. And I like to. This is my pre-fishing right now. I got a big screen monitor here. I can see a lot of the map. You can see along with me here. So I'm going to identify the areas I want to fish. I'm going to print these areas out so I can take them to boat with me. So I've got a game plan and I don't feel lost on the water. Every time I fish a new body of water, I go out there and I don't feel lost at all because I do my homework ahead of time. And I'm not intimidated by new water. I actually love fishing new lakes. So the first thing I'll do is, I'm going to use a snipping tool. I'm not going to do a tutorial on that. You don't know how to use it, look it up, but it allows you to take a screenshot, a picture of what you're looking at here. So I'm going to like to do one of the overview of the lake so I know what the lake looks like when I'm on the water. And I'm going to save that and call it Patoka. Save it there. And now let's start looking at the map. So I'm going to show you the process I'm using. Now I'm looking for what I call high percentage areas, high percentage structures. We're going to see how many we find. Hopefully we'll find at least 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a lot of structures you're going to see me go by that are probably going to be productive, but I'm only looking for to start fishing the lake the very first time. I want to spend my time on the best chance I've got catching the fish, and that's going to be what I call high percentage structures. And I'm going to show you what those are right now. So we're looking at the main basin, so we're going to start right here. And this is a very good Navionics map. It's high definition, and what I mean by the structures I'm looking for now are going to be structures that go to the main channel. That's not to say there's going to be a lot of other structures that are going to be very productive that don't go to the main channel, may go to a say feeder creek channel, but I'm looking for high percentage big structures, and I want to find to start out fishing this lake structures that go to the main channel. So that's where we're just going to follow this main channel and take it all the way to the dam and see how many structure situations we find here. Right off the bat, we've got a good structure situation right here. Let's follow the main channel. It comes out, turns over here, and it goes up to these bars right here, go all the way to the main channel. Now, if I was fishing this lake for a largemouth bass, this would be, I would think, a good structure, should have some fish on it. But I'm looking for walleyes and wipers. It's a very good structure. I'm going to bypass it for right now, but this would be maybe a secondary structure that I would come out and check here. Or if I came back and fished the lake another trip or for multiple days, then I'm sure I would check this out. But let's just keep on going and find some main structures. So I'm following this main channel, going around, and look at this. This big bar here with this super long finger goes all the way to the main channel. Let's see what else happens here. Let's follow the main channel. Then it goes in right up against this bar, makes it really almost 180-degree turn. Anytime you see a sharp turn like that, that indicates that you got a really hard bottom here. Otherwise, that water would be going straight. So this looks really good here. It turns around, comes over here, hits the other side of this thing. This is a major structure situation. So I would definitely fish this. Now let's get a rough idea what the break line is here. The drop off. The structure here, bar tops off at about 17, 18 foot here. about 15, 16 foot here. So that's going to tell me that I'm going to have a drop off, which is the last break line going to the deepest water area. It's going to be, it looks like, if I had to guess, I'd say between 15, 17, maybe 18 feet. You can see here it's 20 feet. You, that's pretty good depth here. I'd say I definitely have a major structure situation here. Let's look over here. You got this big hump over here that at the end of it goes to the main channel. That's going to be something I want to check out too. And the depths on it, it tops off at about 17, 16, 16 feet over here. It's not going to be a structure that I'm going to find largemouth bass on, but it's definitely a structure that I would think I'm going to find wipers and walleyes on. So that's a good structure situation here. Now this channel comes really close over here, but it breaks way too shallow and way too steep. Not interested in this, but I am interested in this big bar here with a couple of nice fingers or humps off the end of it here. It is really long, narrow bar over here and this up here. So right off the bat, I've got a major structure situation here. So I want to remember it when I go out on the water. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Hit new here. And boom. Now I've got a picture of it. And I'm going to highlight just so I don't forget when I'm out there that I want to fish this bar over here. Well, this whole bar over here comes out, turns, hits the channel, comes out over here. I want to fish this whole thing here as well as this hump over here too. So that's a pretty good structure situation there. So I'm going to save this picture here. We are going to call this thing Patoka 1. All right, looks like a good starting spot. I would expect I'm going to find some fish there. So we've got one situation here. Let's keep on following this main channel and see what else this reservoir has for us here. Turns over here. It comes right up against this shoreline bar here, but it's way shallow, way too steep, too shallow. Not interested in it here. Now some of you watch this may say, Jim, look at this. You got some deep humps over here. That looks like some pretty good stuff. You got a bar back here. Not interested. I'm looking for structures that go all the way to the main channel. You got this big flat between these humps and the main channel. Now that's not to say that these structures are not productive. They could be very productive. You could have a side feeder creek channel that will lead the fish to these structures. But I want to go through and first identify high percentage structures. The high percentage structures are going to be those that go to the main channel. Now, I would, if I fished this lake for many days or went back here several times, sure, I'd go back and check this out. But for right now, first time on the lake, I want to go with high percentage structures. So let's just keep on going down and see what else we have here. Channel goes up against the shore, very steep, shallow drop off here. Not interested here. Ooh, we come over here. Looks good here. It goes right up against this bar here, and it's 20 feet deep. I would expect that I'm going to have a drop-off break line in the 20, 21, 22 foot depth there, going into that main channel here. Once again, for the walleyes and wipers, this looks like a pretty good area here. But let's see what else I have in the same area here. The channel goes down here, and it also feeds this. You got another big bar here, goes right to the channel. And it's got some good depth on it. We've got a structure situation here. Let me back out a little bit over here. Yes, I definitely would say this is a major structure situation. Let me do a screenshot of this one. Now we've got a second spot here. Let me capture it. And let me highlight just so I remember. It's going to be pretty obvious when I get out there what I'm fishing, but let me just highlight it and say I'm going to spend time fishing this bar here, and I'm also going to spend time fishing this big bar with all these fingers coming off of it over here. I've got two separate bars, but it's pretty much the same area here. So now we've got our second area of the lake that we are going to fish here. Saving this, going to call it Patoka 2. All right, we got two good areas here. Let me close this and let's keep on looking at what the rest of the reservoir has for us here. Right, the channel goes really close to shore, very steep, very shallow drop off. Not interested. Same thing here, not interested. We come out over here. Boy, it looks like we've got, it runs a little deeper here. Looks like there's evidence of a slight deep bark going over here. Um, it looks promising. Let's just see what else we have here. If we only find one or two more areas, I might come back and add this to my list here. But let's just keep on going down. Channel goes across here. We get over here. Look at this. We've got this big bar, shoreline bar. It's actually a hump here. You got a saddle here going over to another shoreline bar here. Let's see what the depths are here. It's 21, 22. I'm guessing we good chance here. We've got a nice deeper break line here before it drops into the channel. It, um, yeah, this looks really good here. I'd say we've got a structure situation right here. Looks like the channel turns, goes around here, but it looks like there was a side channel that came over here as well too. So this bar gets fed off the main channel over here, and it looks like at one time there's evidence of a channel coming over here feeding it as well too. I would say I would like this area. I would call this a high percentage area. We're going to do our screen shot here, capture it here. Right, going to highlight what we want to fish. We're going to fish this big bar. We got these two nice fingers that go to the channel over here. We'll check this out. I'm not sure. See, the final interpretation is going to come on the water. We can look at the map, get a pretty good rough guesstimate where we think the break line is going to be, but it's just a guesstimate right now. Until we get out on the water and determine it, we'll see. But I'd say I definitely have a fishing major structure situation, fishing situation right here. So we are going to say that, and this is, I believe, the third area that we have identified. Patoka 3. There we go. All right, we got 3 areas here now. Let's keep on looking. All right, we stay on the main channel here. Goes up against this bar over here. Here it breaks too steep, too shallow. I get over here. There's a hump here, tops off at 13 feet. You got a road bed. One thing I've learned about these maps, I mean, typically, it's hard to say. 75% of the time, you see these road beds on these maps, they're really not evident on the water anymore, or that well pronounced, if at all. But if you do find, if this road bed is very well pronounced, um, then I'd be looking to those man-made structures as well too. But I'm not going to highlight or consider any of these man-made structures a high percentage area on its own. If it's on a structure, then that's only going to help that bar or whatever structure it's on. But I wouldn't highlight this just because I've got a road bed here. But this, boy, this is a tough one here. Let's see what else we find. I would possibly think about fishing this thing here, especially over here. It looks like it. You get a little bit of a deeper break line here, and this road bed here may come into play, may help in the structure here. That's probably an area I'm going to check out, but let me just keep on going and see what else we have here. All right, we got nothing but deep flats here. Channel turns, comes over here, turns over here. Now some of you might be saying, "Oh, Jim, you look at that. You got a underwater hump here, an island here. It looks good." Nah, it looks too shallow. The drop off is too shallow. It doesn't seem that I've got any deep features here. I'm not interested in that really. Keep on going around. um, This looks. I'm getting close to the dam here. This area here too, it looks like you got this big deep bar here. It looks like it's about maybe a deeper break line here. It's hard to say. I would guess in the neighborhood of 25, 6, 7 feet before it breaks into the channel. And it comes out. And you got this looks like it's a little bit deeper here too. You know, this could be a good area. I would say that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to come back and highlight that. But let me just, since I'm almost at the dam, keep on looking here. Too steep, too sharp over there. Too steep, too sharp there. Nothing there. Once again, I'm looking for high percentage spots here. All right, we're at the dam. All right, so let me go back here. I think I would check out this spot over here. So we'll do a screen. We got 3 spots, I think. There was another spot that I said I think is worth checking out. Don't know. All right, but we'll stick with this one over here. This one looks, you know, I'm going more towards the dam. I am probably going to find deeper structures here. If the fish have migrated more towards the dam, you know, this could very well be a good productive structure. So let me highlight this here. I'm just going to remind myself with the highlighter here that I've got bar here, comes right to the channel, comes in here. I got another little finger point coming out over here. Another little finger looks like coming out over there. So I got this nice looking bar here. So let's save that. And that is going to be Patoka. This is the 4th, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4th area that we've identified here. Okay, let me just do a quick scan. Now this looks. You got a deeper part here. You got a side feeder creek coming in over here, but I want something that has immediate access to the main channel, and that's over here when it's too steep. But I think we've got 4 areas that we've identified, and I'm sure out of these 4 areas, I would think at least 3 of those 4 areas I expect that are going to produce fish, if not all 4 of those areas here. So, in a matter of what, not even a half hour or so, we've gone through this lake. We've identified 4 areas, and what I'll do is, on the first screenshot that I did of the overall lake here, I'll print this out, and then I'll look up where those 4 areas are, and I'll mark up on that map, you know, area 1, area 2, area 3, and area 4. So when I get out on the water, I'm going to print these out, probably 11 by 17 sheets, big sheets there, so I don't feel lost when I go out there. I'm going to have this map here. This is going to be my first time on this lake, but I'm going to feel comfortable on this lake. Like I know exactly where I'm going. I've got 4 spots here, and I'm sure it's probably going to take me a good hour plus to work each one of these structures thoroughly, if not longer than that, maybe an hour and a half each. I check all 4 of these areas out, and I come back to probably the 2 structures that I may have caught fish on or been productive. You know, I've got, 2/3 of the day gone already, and but the important thing is I'm spending my time, first time ever on this lake, on high percentage structures that I would expect that I may catch fish. If I don't catch fish, it's probably going to be because the weather conditions, water conditions, fish just aren't moving. But the weather seems to be pretty stable. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to see fish being caught here. So, all right, we are going to go on the water next. Next video you see hopefully is going to be me on the water for the first time at Patoka Lake here in Indiana, catching some walleyes, wipers, and maybe even some largemouth. Stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for watching.